Welcome to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. Grab yourself a slice, strap into the party wagon, and hang on tight. Give it up for your host, the totally radical, if slightly mutated, Justin.
And greetings, TMNT fans, and welcome back to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. I am your turtly awesome host, Justin, and I am joined today by some amazing turtle fans from across the globe, as well as a returning friend for our 35th, from our 35th anniversary of the first film last year. I'm going to begin with our returning friend of the show. He is a fellow podcaster, a Twitch streamer, and a big-time gamer. He recently beat me on Pressure Cooker 10-8. Because of his knowledge about the secret of the Ooze. Please welcome back the host of Shellanomics, Mike, a.k.a. King Maketis, or King Meektis, like King Mike.
Either way works. Mike, this works. Either way. I've been called Maketis, like it sounds like it's from the Old Testament. Either one works.
All right. Either way, we're glad to have you back.
Yes.
Next up, a collaborator of Mike's, host of one of the original TMNT podcasts, as we learned, not the original, but one of the originals. And I am aware that this one started back in 2015, so this is an oldie. He hosts the podcast TMNT the Talk in German as well as TMNT Der Talk. I believe that this is the only bilingual TMNT podcast that has episodes in both English and in a different language. A lifelong Turtles fan, welcome Christian to the show.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for the invite. I'm honored. I'm happy to be here. Let's have fun.
All right. Then finally, last but not least, she hosts a pop culture podcast started in 2012, the early days of podcasting, and has a spin-off show, right, all dedicated to TMNT called Podcast and Half Shell. Please help me welcome from across the pond, the host of Stacey's Pop Culture Parlour, Stacey. Welcome.
Hello. Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's splendid to be here having a slow roast in my little recording room.
It's hot in your sewer?
It's hot in my sewer. I need a Donatello to fix me up with like a billion ACs right now.
Oh, jeez, wouldn't that be great? Then they go into, what do they go into? Torpor when they get too cold? I don't know. I'm not up on my biology for turtles, but I should be.
Brumation? Is that a thing?
Brumation. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I like
go.
that. See, that's why we have you here, to just
Somebody
kind of fill in
reads
those gaps.
Too much TMNT fan fiction is what it is.
Okay. All right. We'll be getting to that part of the show later. But
None of the dirty stuff. Come on now.
I may have set this up purposely with the guests that I have, but Christian, I have to ask you, who is your favorite turtle?
Oh, man. I have a very boring answer to that. Because they all are. The Turtles, they are four, they are a team, they are a family, and only when they are together, they are complete. When one of them is missing, it doesn't feel right. So, yes, I know, boring answer, but yeah, all four. Okay. Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, they are all my favorites. That's
all right. I was banking on a completely different answer, so that's fine, because I specifically asked Stacey here, because Stacey is a Donatello enthusiast.
Yes, a huge Donatello enthusiast. I actually did a head count from my Turtles action figure collection just last week because I thought, I wonder how many Donnies I've got now, and the answer is 71.
71. Okay.
71 Donnies in this room with me right now. Yeah.
Mike, do you have 71 Michelangelo figures?
Probably. Well, what I do want to say though too is yes, most people know I am the Mikey fan, but I'll give you guys an exclusive here on Epic Tales. when Justin and I were doing Pressure Cooker Live, our host was getting nervous because he was running out of questions for us to ask because we kept getting ties. So Justin knows I'm a big Mikey guy. So one of the questions that was not on the recording but pre-recorded was Michelangelo's line in the first movie, "Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza." So all the host was looking for was late pizza, but me being the Mikey fan spat out everything, but we tied on the question because he was only looking for late pizza.
It is absolutely true. It's like how the sausage is made. That was such a fun experience too.
Oh,
so
yes.
we'll have to do it again. So obviously Michelangelo, and Christian's a fan of all of them, and all of them, I guess Raphael is one of them, and I am a Leonardo fan. So admittedly, Leo is my guy, and this is not Leo's movie, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll get to that. But the purpose I've brought you all here together, we all have kind of like a unique perspective, and we all have a unique platform, but we get to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the release of TMNT II, The Secret of the Ooze. Exciting stuff. So, I've got some particulars I'm going to run by everybody here just so you can kind of understand kind of where this was. And I've got some perspective of just what was going on in the world when this was released. And it would not shock me based on the brumation there if Stacey knows this, but I actually looked up the definition of the word ooze just to kind of go out through there. So it's a fluid slowly trickle or seep out of something to flow in a very gradual way, right? So that's it as a verb. So blood was oozing from the wound on his scalp. Ooh. And as a noun, it's a viscous fluid. So it could be a slow exude or a discharge of a viscous fluid. Or it could be something that someone uses to describe them. So he oozed charm and poise, that sort of thing. So, do we think that ooze is the correct word that they should have used for here? Is that kind of like a hook line?
That's a good question. In our old cartoon, it was mutagen.
Mm-hmm.
I think Secret of the Ooze flows better than mutagen would, just for the general public.
What about Secret of the Slime?
They may be thinking Ghostbusters with slime. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe Ghostbusters on its way out, but possibly.
It's ooze. Ooze. Let it sink in. Ooze. It just works. Rose of the tongue.
It definitely does that. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I think that ooze was smart just because it's something that is unique to this. And when you say ooze, you think of this film. So that's pretty fun. But let's see. I'm going to give you a couple just stats about this film, and just we'll talk about some of this, and this will go into our discussion. But just for anyone just listening now, so the film TMNT Secret of the Ooze, directed by Michael Pressman, produced by Raymond Chow, David Chan, and Thomas K. Gray, written by Todd W. Langan. The live actors, we had some returning, some not. Live action, we had April O'Neil, played by Paige Turco, who was a new choice. David Warner would come in as Professor Jordan Perry. He is the biggest name in this movie. He is the biggest star in this film. There's no doubt. Ernie Reyes Jr. as Kino, new character, and Francois Chow as Shredder. So voice actors, we have Brian Tochi returning as Leonardo, Robbie Rist returning as Michelangelo, Adam Carl, aforementioned, as Donatello, which is a new choice for this. Laurie Faso as Raphael, who would be new, taking over on Raphael. Kevin Clash returning as Master Splinter, and then David McCarran as the Shredder. So that voice would at least maintain somewhat consistency with there. And this may surprise you. I've got the budget and box office back then, and then what the gross is now. So that'll be interesting because we are going to be talking about the re-release for 2026. So the budget was $25 million back in 1991. Their gross was $7.7 million, and then their net $30 million. So they made back their money on this one, back then. The re-release box office, the receipts that they got back were $55 million on this film. Incredibly successful. If you can believe that, right?
Cool.
Let's do more things like this. Now, I'm going to hit you. I don't know if either of you remember, and maybe any of you remember, what was going on in 1991, just to kind of set the stage. Would anybody have a guess of what's the number one song on the radio, Billboard charts, in the U.S. So if you just take a guess, what were the number one songs on the radio at that point in 1991?
I was 7 at the 6 going on 7. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. You got me. I would say Salt and Pepper. That's probably the best I give. I think they were more 93.
That was a really good guess. Think along that lines, but also I would just like to say, also if you think of Stewie Griffin on a beach, just like walking and doing a video, if any Family Guy fans,
Chris Isaac.
no, that would be amazing. I would love that.
That would be amazing.
How
I've got
about-
absolutely nothing. I would have been about 6 as well, and I can't.
You better
even-
say
I can't-
okay.
I
All right.
barely remember what I did yesterday.
Wicked Game. Was it Wicked Game?
I would. Oh man, Wicked Game would be amazing. Now I would kind of want to see that, and with Stewie on it. No, this is Everything I Do for You from the Robin Hood
Oh,
Prince
of
of Thieves
course.
soundtrack.
Okay.
Number one song on the Billboard U.S. charts at the time. Now, you said Salt and Pepper. That's not far off from the number 2 song. I Want to Sex You Up by Color Me Bad.
There we
What a
go.
banger.
This is the
I
world
want
this movie was
sex,
released in, everybody. Yeah, great.
All the
yeah.
bops, baby. All the bops.
All right, here's the last one. This one, CNC Music Factory, Gonna Make You Sweat / Everybody Dance Now.
What a sexy time we were having in
I know.
1991.
All right.
Yes.
I love that you said that. Now, the top 3 films. Does anybody want to guess? I think I may have given one away, but one will surprise you. Top
Was
3
it the
films
Prince
of
of
1991.
Thieves, perchance?
It was. That was the number
There
2
you go.
top box office film of this year. So, wow. Does anyone have a guess on what the number 1 was for the year, 1991? I was obsessed with it. I saw it in the theaters.
Was 91 Batman Returns?
Not this one. No.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess either. I've got 2 guesses. They're probably gonna be wrong. One of them is well. I won't know. I would say either something Kevin Costner was in or Gremlins.
No. I think this one's a little bit more recent than that. It would have been
Okay.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, of course.
Ooh.
It was huge. Now the third one, I don't think anybody would have gotten at all. It was the continuation of Home Alone from 1990 into 1991. That movie made so much money, they just kept releasing it in theaters.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Bananas.
let's see. And just a note here, TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze ranked number 10 for the year at 78.6 million, as I mentioned before. So that's pretty good.
That's good.
Now, I'll just give you these because it's, top 3 children's movies, just for perspective. Number 1, Beauty and the Beast came out. Landmark animated film, nominated for Best Picture. First time ever for an animated film. Steven Spielberg's Hook came out. Man, like all this stuff happened in this year. So it's like, and then the third best kids movie as per this list was Secret of the Ooze. So they said the top 3 kids movies: Beauty and the Beast, Hook, and then Secret of the Ooze. Pretty interesting. Let's see. So more of that later. I've looked up all kinds of fun things, but it's just interesting. Does anybody have a story about maybe when they first saw this? So was it in the theaters? Was it on VHS? I'll turn this over to the group here.
Yes. So I do remember seeing the trailer as a kid. I was getting hyped for it. My dad, now we talked about this in the other one, for the first movie, I couldn't see it opening weekend because it was just so crazy. But this movie, we did go see opening weekend. My earliest memory, and I've learned, is to not drink as much soda because my legs were twisted. And when they're sliding down to go talk to Splinter for that final funny, I'm like, please end. I have to pee, but I don't want to miss the ending. I was holding it in. I was thankful back then, too. There really weren't too many, MCU ending credit scenes. So I was able to finish the movie in there. And it's really hard, when you're sitting there just seeing everything so big and you get those early memories in your childhood brain. The one part that does stand out that made me laugh is still, well, 2 of them, was Michelangelo, the little 2 spot. And when everybody was laughing in the theater when he crunches the candy bar in Raphael's ear, that was the other part. Remember, everyone was just laughing out loud. So those are my memories.
How about you, Christian? Do you recall when you first saw this one?
Okay. I did not see it in theater. I saw it in VHS later, and I was a very scared kid. I was scared of Toka and Razor. I'm not kidding
Oh
you.
wow. Okay.
Oh.
and
Oh.
and TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze. I saw it after Turtles 3. So it was the last from the original trilogy that I ever saw because I was just scared of the two mutants. I'm not kidding you, really. And I remember it that I saw it with a friend. I was visiting a friend, and we were renting VHS from the video store. And so, yeah, I'm ready to see it. Let's rent TMNT 2. And hey, it was amazing. It was great. So yeah, that's my little story. I was scared of two Muppets, you could say.
I love that though.
To-
I mean, that gives it flavor, you know?
Yeah. To be fair, I saw Gremlins at a very young age, and then would not watch it again until I think about 4 years ago was the first time I'd seen it as an adult, because I was like, no, thank you, they're terrifying. So I do not blame. Although they are actually meant to be a little bit scary, but yeah, I feel for you, is what I'm saying.
I love that, you know, solidarity among TMNT fans. So, you know.
yeah. Muppet phobia, that's what I've got. I first saw this film on VHS as well, because I was only teeny tiny 6-year-old when it came out in cinemas. And to be honest, I didn't really know about the Turtles until I was about 8 or 9, when they started re-showing the 87 cartoon over here in the UK on Saturday mornings. And I was like, who are these little green guys? They're excellent, aren't they? And it was only after sort of watching a few seasons of that at a local Blockbuster, I spotted the 90 movie and then Secret of the Ooze, and I was like, Mom, this looks like the green guys that I watch on a Saturday. Like, can we get it? So she was like, yeah, sure. And then I proceeded to watch both of those movies about 53 times in a year. I'm almost certain my entire family could rattle off both entire scripts based purely on how much I made everybody watch both of these films when I was young.
Wow.
I didn't see TMNT 3 until I was about 25. I didn't know it existed for some reason. And then when I did, I was like, no, it wasn't really worth the wait. But I'm glad I've seen it. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. It's just not as good as the other two, is it?
I'm gonna get listener
loved
feedback for this. So Jonathan, I will not disparage TMNT 3 until we do that episode next year or what have you. So
I will actually go to bat for TMNT 3. I actually quite like it. It just isn't as good as the other two. But yeah, people fight me on that quite frequently, and I'm like, mate, you're never gonna stop me from liking it, soz.
I like parts of it, you know, like I like parts of the Bay films. So, you know,
I like
I'll
both
tell you
of those too.
I like the second one. That's, you know, we'll have to do an episode on that one. So, I'll tell you about this. When I saw it in theaters, because I think I'm just slightly older than Christian. I think I'm just like a little bit older than you guys. I am 45, so I'm a year older than the Turtles, I think, or maybe a couple years older. I don't know. But so I was like 10 or 11, 4th grade, 5th grade, something around there, and I went to see it in the theaters, and it was amazing, you know. And then we went home and had the Hostess fruit pies that came with the collector card that was underneath the grease of the pie and all that. So it was amazing. But I watched this movie completely transfixed on my favorite character, Leonardo. So I had a completely different idea. I'm like, yeah, Leonardo, he did everything. Oh, it was great. When you watch the movie now, he does relatively nothing. So
He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to use his swords. Is the problem? So,
yeah, that's
so.
Well,
there's a bit where they're all in a rope net, and you just look, and he's like, "Oh no, how are we ever going to get free?" And I'm like, "You're carrying 2 giant blades." What?
Yeah, like you could do something. So you know,
just something. But that scene does give us the visual of Splinter puppet trying to operate a bow and arrow, which is fantastic. So you know, I will let it off for not letting the Turtles use their weapons every now and again.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. So I will say that. So with that, I wanted to ask, because we got a chance to see the re-release for 35th anniversary, and there was a featurette before the re-release. So just to kind of talk about this first, but I do want to also get the experience from Stacey here, who hosted an entire event on this.
Yeah.
Could you talk about the event that you hosted, and then maybe some of the reactions of the Last Ronin sort of esque parts before, like that Kevin Eastman
We
featurette?
didn't get the featurette.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I haven't even seen or heard of it. So you'll have to talk to me about this, because we didn't get the featurette, unfortunately.
Well, then that's a reaction right there.
Yeah. Yeah, give it to me. I want it.
It is on YouTube. So
Excellent.
it's something that afterwards we'll get you a link for it. I know Mike had
Brilliant.
it. I think he sent it to me, but it was kind of like a Kevin Eastman talking about the release of the movie, and then there was instead of it having like animatics in between, they had live action versions of a turtle dressed up in kind of like Last Ronin gear with a black mask and a hood and all that, and sitting there with like candles burning and stuff. So it was really like kind of like a low budget take on it, but it was kind of cool, I'd say. So you should check it out. What do you guys think? Did you get to see that?
Yes. Well, I won't reveal the Easter egg for Stacey then, because there is some cool flashback if you're a diehard fan of the original movie that pops up in there, if you recall that. So we'll leave that a little secret. I was actually blown away by it. It was just a cool, like more adult-oriented 1990s vibe. It was dark, rainy, just great action. I loved it.
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube, thanks to Mike. And I also thought it was really cool. It felt somehow like a test what more or less Last Ronin style could look like. I thought it was cool. And yes, as you said, there's a very cool guy with a pizza in there that some of you might recognize. And just for that, I thought that's cool. That's really nice. And seeing Kevin Eastman talking about turtles and just, by the way, drawing a little turtle and stuff like that, it felt really cool. I thought it was really a really nice little thing to see. Yeah.
Nice. So knowing that we don't have that experience, but Stacey, can you tell us a little bit about the event that you hosted for the Secret of the Ooze?
Yeah, sure. I actually happen to know somebody who runs an anime festival here in my hometown of Birmingham in the UK. And a couple of years ago, I was sort of farting around on Twitter before it became a total cesspit. And and I was like, I'm just getting some ideas about maybe I want to do a live event or something. That sounds quite exciting, doesn't it? And this guy said, I can put you in touch with the Mockingbird Cinema, which is an independent cinema here in Birmingham that I absolutely adore. They're proper like champions of local cinema. They put a lot of money into local filmmakers, and they do premieres of like British films and stuff. It's really great. And so I got in touch with him for the 40th anniversary of the Turtles existing as a concept in 2024. And we did an event where we screened the whole first season of the 87 cartoon, the 1990 live action movie. The 1990 live action movie. I came up with an entire 40 question quiz, and we had loads of prizes, and then we all got a pizza as well from a local pizza place. And it went down so well that when this opportunity came up, I just went straight back to that cinema and I was like, can we do this again? Secret of the Ooze, Electric Boogaloo, let's do it. And he got very excited again. So we did a similar thing, but this time I handpicked 3 of my favourite episodes of the 87 cartoon for us to screen. We did the quiz, we had a pizza, we also had an added mutagen mule cocktail for everybody that attended as well. That was potent. I had one and I was like, how am I to do the quiz now? I am drunk. But
what was in that?
Do you know what? I don't even know. They just the cinema commissioned a local cocktail bar to just make a big batch of it and just bring it round, and they just decanted it into a cup and put a tiny little gummy pizza slice in there, which I thought was adorable.
Bravo.
I know, right? And that was the first time I actually saw the movie on the big screen, Secret of the Ooze. Anyway, so it was a really fun night. I got so overexcited at seeing a little Two-Raff on big screen. I actually warned people beforehand when I introduced the movie that I will start laughing a good 3 minutes before that line, because it is that funny to me. Best joke committed to film, in my humble opinion.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah, it was a really great event. We almost sold out. I think we had about 80 people there in a 90-seat cinema, so that's not too shabby. Yeah.
Did they have children too? Just adults, children?
There were a few kids there, and don't worry, their version of the cocktail was not boozy. Because can you imagine? But there were a few kids who came up to chat to me, oh bless them, in between the cartoon and the movie to ask me questions about my favourite turtle and my favourite show, my favourite episodes, and it was so much fun. Like, I actually had a little bit of a cry when I got home because I was like so overwhelmed by like how well it went, which seems like I'm really tooting my own horn, but I'm not. I think it was just such a love. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like the TMNT community have been so kind to me. Like, everybody's just so excited to talk about the Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, yes, my people. So yeah, it was a really, really lovely day.
So
we talk about that often.
For you. Did you guys have the Ninja Turtles or the Hero Turtles edition? Because you're in the UK, right? So
yeah. So what we did was we got the Hero Turtles version specifically because but we kept Mikey's nunchucks. We didn't because in some of the episodes they edited those out and put a grappling hook in there instead, which doesn't make any real sense. But we did want to keep the Hero Turtles theme tune because we thought that was
curious on that.
Brand recognition. I was going to ask if you could share, because Mike is the big animated 87 series. What were the 3 episodes that you picked for the premiere that you had there?
So bear in mind, we'd already shown the first season, so I ruled those out. I didn't want to show any of those again. I picked Cowabunga Shredhead, which is the one where Shredder thinks he's Michelangelo for a really long time, and it's excellent. It's very funny. I picked the 4 Musketurtles, which is one where Leo bonks his head and then thinks he's D'Artagnan, which is also extremely funny to me. And then the Killer Pizzas one with the Xenomorph style turtle monsters, because that was my favorite when I was a kid. I was obsessed with that, which might explain why I love horror movies so much now that I'm grown up.
That would explain it, yeah. Mike, how did those episodes stack up for your favorites?
Fantastic variety there too. I like that. You get the James Avery comedy. I actually also like Musketurtles, where Leonardo keeps calling Shredder Michelou, and he gets really ticked off about that.
It's so funny. There's a perfect delivery in that episode as well, where Rob Paulson as Raph is like, "Look, I love the guy, but I draw the line at putting on a dress and wearing frills," and then it cuts immediately to him in a full Musketurtle outfit, and he's like, "Well, I feel like an idiot." And it's such a wonderful little. I love Rob Paulson. What a guy.
That's so crazy. I love that it's just such an eclectic mix too, because I try to think of like what my favorite ones, and they all, it's like, so like, oh, if there's another mutant like Leatherhead, Mondo Gecko, Mona Lisa, like, oh, that's my favorite. It's like, has nothing to do with anything, just like, I like them and I like their toys. So
well, there were so many that I had a short list of about 53 episodes that I was trying to whittle down to one of the ones that got very close was the Corporate Invaders from Dimension X, I think, which I love just because Casey turns up in a suit and a hockey mask at work, which is brilliant, and nobody bats an eyelid. They're just like, this guy's normal, come into my office, sir. It's so good.
Listen up, lawbreakers. He's just the best.
And that's why we love NECA, because NECA made a toy specifically for the Casey Jones in the business suit. So
it's just insane. I mean,
I love 87 Casey.
Yes.
That's one of the things that was surprising about this movie, and I'll bug Christian on this one. Were you shocked that Casey Jones was not in this, seeing as how you saw this one after the 3rd film?
Yeah, we never got an explanation, because remember at the end of the first movie, April and Casey hooked up, and in the second movie, where was he? I mean, from a movie's perspective, it makes sense because they now have Kino, because they wanted to put Ernie Reyes Jr. in there, and it would have been too much, but at least mention him in a way like, oh, he's off in New Jersey for today or something. And in the 3rd movie he was back, and he's back again. So it was kind of weird, not even a mention or anything, but the film worked even without Casey, even though I would have liked to see more of Elias Koteas, definitely.
Yeah, I just think it's a unique perspective too. It's like if you went from 1 to 3 and then back to 2, you were probably like, "What the hell is going on?" You know, it's like, "Where is this guy and who's this kid?" So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understood. It was not like that. I was watching them out of order and thinking like, okay, this is the right order, and somehow it doesn't make sense. I knew that 2 comes after 1, and so yeah. But I mean, when you go from 1 to 3, it's like, okay, Casey is still around, so no problemo.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
so
He
yeah,
hadn't
but
he hadn't started an Octopus Inc. yet. So
maybe. Yeah.
let me ask you guys this one. Which character design do you think is closest to the first film? Because there's some that are pretty far off, and then there's some that are somewhat close. Like, I don't know. What do you think for the character designs here with the turtles' faces? I know it's a head scratcher, right? Because you still have this is technically the first film done post Jim Henson passing away, but Jim Henson Studios is still at the helm for the animatronics and all of that. So you've got their designs, but I mean, Leonardo does not look like Leonardo from the first movie. He's got a really sort of like protruding beak that seems to smile more, you know. But I was just curious if that's something that resonates with you all as fans of the film as well.
I mean, I do remember watching that VHS tape, the making of the second movie, and they do like a little more in depth of like with the mouth. So the mouth moving is cool, but I'm with you. I just again, I think most people agree. Like the first movie was more comic related. This one was more 1987 related because it was more silly, comedy, wacky, and you can see it just in the colors because they're a little bit more bright and vibrant compared to the darker, gritty green.
I didn't think of the color of their costumes like that, but yeah, I would think of it like with the bandanas.
Yeah.
And the filters that they use, like they're not using as much darkness and shadow to hide the defects in the costumes and all of that. I'm not aware of another Donatello smiles and you can see Ernie sort of moment in this film, so maybe they learned from that, but you know, I don't know.
Terrifying.
It is. Yeah, it's nightmare fuel. So another question. Freddy is a character who's in 2.5 scenes in this film. Where the hell is he in the rest of this movie? Does anyone think about Freddy and just like he's not there when Kino gets his initiation test or anything else like that? He shows up 2 times and that's it. One in the half scene is when he goes, Dandelion. You know, what's going on with Freddy, guys? Yeah.
He was just one of the foot ninjas in the background for the rest of the movie. He was wearing a mask. You don't realize it, but he's there. I just know it. No, I have no idea. But it must have been. I mean, he was a foot soldier, and yeah, who knows? He was there, and he didn't have anything to say, so he was just keeping his mask on, I guess. So.
Good point you make, Judson. Maybe he could have been a third mutant, and they just ran out of time on a budget. You know, maybe because like that Michael Bay movie, didn't they change the script? Right, Eric Sachs was supposed to be Shredder, but they rewrote that whole entire movie script. So maybe he was supposed to have a bigger role, and they just nixed it. That's a good point. I never thought of that guy.
Possible.
See, this is that fan fiction part of the show, Stacey, where we're just fantasizing what was going on with Freddy. Maybe Casey and April didn't get together, and you know, maybe there's some sort of romantic liaison. Where's Freddy? Why is she asking about Freddy? Well, they went on a date, so she wants to know what's going on with this guy who turns out to be in the foot. How about that?
Yeah. We should work on that.
I don't think I've read a single fanfic that mentions Freddy.
There's not one. No, I just created it. So, this is a question for Stacey. Why did Donatello surf on an office chair in the TGRI building? I thought he was the smart one. What is going on there?
Well, I mean, to that I say, why not? If the opportunity is there to surf on an office chair in a science building, I'm going to do it. I think probably.
Have you done that?
But I am an idiot, so maybe I'm not. That's no. I'm very frightened of hurting myself. Actually, I am fully one of those people who was like, because nearly everybody I know who likes the Turtles has also gone through a karate phase. Not me. Could never be me because I would hurt myself instantly if I did that. So yeah, no, I wouldn't do it. But I can. He's a teenager. You've got to remember that he's smart, but he's like, you know, teen smart. Do you know what I mean? He's also a deer.
That is the right answer.
Teenage deer.
He could have been tired too. I mean, he was the only one actually doing all the fighting in that scene too. He was the only one that was actually, you know, doing kicks and whatnot. So he wanted to take a little breather and just ride around.
he gets to use his weapon.
It's so funny to me that in this movie. Yeah, it's bonkers to me that that's the case, because like his weapon is the easiest one for you to emulate if you're a small child. Like you can go and get a stick and hit someone with it if you want to. I mean, nunchucks were in very rare supply in my house. So
unless you've got those combat cold cuts, I guess, right? You know, you're just hanging some sausage out to dry, you know, or something. And you attack the little brother with them, be like, next time I'll use mustard, you know. Oh, that's lovely. I hadn't thought about this because, like, I definitely have thought about how Leo didn't use his swords, but Raph really doesn't even use his sais at all. And Leo will use like a set of like a screama sticks that he steals from a foot in that, but I don't see Raph using weapons really at all.
No,
I mean, he held a bar, you know, and knocked someone over, and he threw a tire, but. You know.
Do we even see the sai in one sai in the whole movie? I just can't remember.
Very quickly in the beginning when he does like that elbow and does the if you see that part, you can vaguely see a sai, but it's like you'll have to watch that spot. That's it.
He does the Batman punch, sort of.
Yeah, he's like in the that's it.
So when you hear that music,
yes, which is still a great way to wake up. That could be actually a good alarm clock for anybody who needs to get up for work on a Wednesday in the middle of the week.
That's a big change in this film from the previous film too, and I had a couple observations about that. The music in the first is, you know, it's like this dark sort of like synth wave thing going on, and this one we get like B lighthearted like B movie kid stuff. Like specifically, like the fight that Raph has in the junkyard is very similar to the fight that he has on the rooftop in the first movie, right? So it's Raph being Raph, doing his stuff, doing his fun kicks, throwing out quips and stuff like that. But you listen to the music and it's like, is there a carnival going on? Like, what the heck is going? And it's like just this stuff, and it's like, oh, Shredder shows up. Okay. But I mean, he almost died in the first movie, and we're hearing this, you know, and this one's like wop wop. So I don't know. Like, any thoughts on the music in this film?
Kind of, it seems more just like a nice like a comedy spiel. I mean, although the Toka Razor music's kind of good too, you know, but it's just like faster paced. But then again, we do get Vanilla Ice at the end, which everybody, you know, it's like I don't know. I'm guessing. Actually, where would you rank that, Justin? Do you like Ninja Rap or Pizza Power better for your go-to Turtle song?
Pizza Power from the
Coming Out of Their Shells tour.
Ooh,
which one resonates? When you think Turtles, I mean, I'm pretty sure the general fan it's Ninja Rap, but just which one stands out more?
The correct answer would be TURTLE Power.
Okay.
If that was it, and then I would put Tarzan Boy above Ninja Rap, but then I would say Ninja Rap. So
okay.
And that's a shout out to the third movie soundtrack, which had Tarzan Boy. Well,
yes.
Mike, you are referring to the song Toka and Razar Monster Mix by Orchestra on the Half Shell, which is in fact goofy as fuck. So you should check that out from the soundtrack.
Masters say have fun. I think they have the voices in there too, right? Don't they just like they chime in that one, right?
And Stacey, who does the voices for Toka and Razar?
I want to say it's probably Frank Welker. Surely
it is Frank
if
Welker.
There's an animal that needs a sound.
Guys, full disclosure, I knew she knew that answer because I listened to her podcast. So sneaky. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally a Leonardo move. I'll take the point for that. Yeah, but music as a character, it's not as dark. So, you know, we've got that comedic sort of flow to this, and it's got like a silliness to it, you know, which they balance with the scariness of Toka and Razar and like the seriousness of like Kino and the Foot Clan and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of an interesting vibe for the film. Let's see. One of the notes that I had of this one is the turtles need to search for Raph at one point, Do you think that there's a parallel to the IDW comic series for this? Like maybe they drew some inspiration from that, because the first 8 issues are all trying to find Raphael.
Oh yeah, it's actually a good point.
I never did do this connection, but you might be onto something here. Yeah,
We'll have to ask
maybe.
Tom Waltz about that. Maybe. So,
I guess.
how about this, Stacey? What side is Professor Perry on, honestly? Because he's pretty complicit with the Foot Clan and obviously afraid of Tatsu and Shredder, but he really doesn't display fear in most scenes. He does mention later on that he caused a defect in the mutagen for Toka and Razar, but is he in this for the science? Is that his goal? Is he on his own side?
I think he's in it for the not getting killed. I think even though he doesn't display an awful lot of fear, there's a man who's sort of just wearing a lot of knives, who's telling him to do something. And if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever you want, knifeman. Like, do you know what I mean? You're not gonna say no. And like Tatsu's there in the corner just frowning at you. You just think, yeah, I'm gonna get my face punched clean off. Maybe I'll just make these mutants that he's asked me to make. But I do like the fact that he just helps the turtles later as well, because he's just clearly like, okay, I'm not going to die, but I probably should clean up this mess that I've made then. I love Jordan Perry. I think I should put that out there. I think David Warner is like the best thing about this film. I absolutely adore him. I think he's wonderful. He's like a proper character actor, and I love the fact that he was happy to be in a silly Ninja Turtles movie and actually do a real good job of it as well, and not just like phone it in, which a lot of people could have done. They'd have been like, I'm playing a scientist who's making a giant Muppet. Okay. But Warno just like properly brought the energy, and I love that about him. I think he's wonderful.
How did they miss him for the third movie about time travel when he was literally in Time After Time and Time Bandits? So I don't know. That seemed to be his shtick. So it's, and if neither of you have ever seen Time After Time, it's crazy. It also has Malcolm McDowell in it, and they're playing H.G. Wells and going back in time to stop murders. It's wacko. And Time Bandits from Terry Gilliam. If you've ever seen that, oh boy, that's a fun one. So yeah, David Warner was a great casting choice for this one. I think he brought the gravitas. He was the biggest actor in this film by a mile. You guys have any thoughts on Professor Perry here?
So wasn't there a rumor, I guess we could roleplay because we're all diehard fans, that he was actually supposed to be an Utram and like reveal himself at the end of the movie? Wasn't there talk about that?
Yeah, as far as I remember, someone mentioned that, yeah, they thought about it. It was, I could be wrong here, but I don't think it ever got into a script or anything. But they, at first, a little wanted to have like a scene at the end when you see like he opens up his clothes and you see an Utram in his body. But I think they thought that people or kids might confuse him with Krang. It's like, oh my God, he's evil, and yeah, that would have been more problems than good. But it would have been interesting, like. Maybe a cut scene or anything like that to see it on a DVD or anything, but no, it was never shot or anything. So, but yeah, just imagine the thing, like, okay, when you're watching the movie and like, sometimes he seems a little bit more alien-like in some scenes. So, yeah, something to think about.
Maybe he could have been Honeycutt. Maybe he could have been the Fugitoid. Something like that. But I don't know. That would have been
Don't
interesting.
tease me with a Fugitoid.
Oh, wouldn't that have been great?
I love Fugitoid so much.
So you've got he's like, 15 years ago, you came in contact with a colloidal gel that, okay. All right, thanks, Fugitoid. So, that would be wonderful.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
Yeah. Oh, that was my thought rather than the Krang, like if it was something like that. But I mean, how great would that have been to see what Jim Henson Studios could have done with a Fugitoid?
Oh, wow.
Or like with a Krang, like would it look like the dinosaur baby that Kevin Cash played in the dinosaur series? Like would it be that? Like would it be goofy? I don't know. Like, is this that type of movie? I don't know.
We could have had our
35
very
years
own
later.
host here actually voice Krang, because if you guys do check out his show, I'll do a plug for him. He does do a great Krang impersonation of Pat Fraley over there, Justin. So we could have had you voice this Krang that would have been.
Thank you, Michael. I do love my Krang.
Fantastic.
I am having fun already, guys. And I want to ask you guys about Kino a little bit here, because he's our point of view character that we get from the very first scene of the movie. He's the pizza delivery guy. He's the perspective character of like, okay, he's going to come in and he's going to see this. He kind of plays out in like two different ways, where he's that character that accelerates the timetable by getting into trouble and figures out the turtles and all of that. But the thing about Kino, he also has this relationship with Raph that seems to have Raph taking the older brother role, similar to Leo. And they seem to have that same dynamic where they fight. And we get to see a little bit of that with like Raph fighting with Leo. Oh, forget it, I'm out of here. 4 seconds later, they find the sewer layer, right? But like Raph goes off to do his own thing with Kino. But it's very similar to like that sort of dynamic that he has with Kino, who's like this younger, cockier character and all of that. What are your thoughts on the relationship that they have? And do you think that either of them grow as a result of this relationship with each other? And I'll kick that to Stacey first, if you're ready.
Oh, now asking me might that might be a slight problem, just due simply to the fact that I don't like Kino as a character.
That is exactly why I asked you
love
first.
Ernie Reyes Jr. and you bully, you absolute bully. I love Ernie Reyes Jr. I think he's fantastic, and I also cannot deny how brilliant he is at martial arts. Like, he's just absolutely phenomenal. But I don't think the best way to introduce a new character to us is to have him be creepy at a woman and then be fat phobic when she says no to him, and then sort of bully April relentlessly. I'm just like, what an arrogant little knob. And so I found him quite off-putting.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, Stacey. Okay, just because you're the female here. So if a pizza delivery guy just walks into your apartment, what do you do?
I would absolutely tell him to get entirely to fuck, mate. Like, get out of my house. You are not invited in. Like, what are you on about? Like, it doesn't matter how many pizzas I've ordered in my entire life. First of all, I didn't order these ones, so take them away. And secondly, why are you in my living room bullying me about nunchucks that I can't wield? Oh no, I'm having a bad time. It's because what if it turned out that she didn't know the turtles and he just busted in there and just started fannying around with all of her things? I'm like, mate, you are
exactly touching her weapons, exactly.
she's got to call
if he came in and started touching your toys on the back of your shelf, I'm sure he'd be leaving with a couple broken fingers at least.
I was going to say, no amount of martial arts training is going to prepare him for the can of whoop-ass that I will open if anybody touches any of my things. But the thing is, this is where the relationship with Raph gets a little bit irritating to me, because I was hoping that what would happen is that him being so much like Raph of the first movie would make Raph realise that actually maybe I should chill out a little bit and maybe stop giving Leo such a fucking hard shrift. I know little brother antics, but maybe I should like calm down a tad. And in turn, that Kino would learn that lesson as well. But I think actually they're just a real bad influence on each other. They're like, let's infiltrate the foot. Yeah, okay, let's go. And it's like, you are going to die. The pair of you are going to die. What are you doing? So I wish there was more of a sort of progression there, both for Raph in terms of his relationship with Leo, and also for Kino in terms of not being a fanny.
Even Splinter tried to console him too, right? Remember they do that meditation spot, and he's like, "You can't keep me here," and he just boogies, he just books.
Being a jerk is a choice, isn't it? I mean, seriously, like I like Kino because at the time it was like the coolest thing, and someone catches your foot, you hit him with the back foot and all that. It's like Kino was a badass, absolutely. But like looking at him and looking at his behavior, he's reckless. He gets people in trouble. You know, he just runs on stage and kicks the shredder. Are you insane? You know, and I think that the only
Mad
growth that we
behavior.
see from him, yeah, absolutely. And the only growth that we see at the end when he realizes that the stakes were high because this girl that the shredder was holding is hurt and she's on the ground and it snaps him into reality. And that's why he's like, I know this is not my fight, and he's gonna stay and help her. That's the only glimmer I think that we get of Kino being like, all right, I have to take responsibility because this happened because of me. So, and I didn't notice that until this rewatch, by the way, that he actually cared about this girl and he was there on the stage. So, pretty interesting stuff. What do you think, Christian? Any dynamic issues between Raph and Kino here?
I mean, everything you said is absolutely right. I mean, when you're watching this as a kid, I mean, for me at least, you don't realize it's like, okay, this is the new kid. He's like, I don't know, a younger Raphael. Yes, he's reckless. He's hard-headed, but yeah, that's just. But he's a cool fighter, so everything's good. But yeah, watching it now, I was like, okay, you're acting kind of not good. Anyway, but I gotta say, I always like these moments when Raph, who's the hothead, he's the reckless one, he's the lone wolf, and he goes out. And I love these moments when Raph has to like take care of someone, of a kid, like third movie when he had this relationship with Yoshi. I always liked it. They did like one episode in the 2003 show where Raph had to like work together with a kid and to find out, okay, now I cannot be the lone wolf. I have to help someone because when I don't take care of this kid now, he might get into real trouble. And I like this, like when Raph really has to mellow down a bit to be the responsible one. And I mean, with Kino, it wasn't never that like he was taking care of Kino. They were pretty much more on the same side. So you have Raph and Raph Jr. So yeah, both hothead like Splinter's like, no, don't do this, don't infiltrate the Foot Clan, it's too dangerous, and that's the first thing they do the next day. So I mean, I like the dynamic between them, and yes, you don't really get much character growth out of it, and so yeah, do I like Kino? Yeah, I think it's funny. Ernie Reyes Jr. is a great guy. But yeah, watching this now as an adult, you see there's some problematic stuff in there. But yeah, who knows? Maybe in the future we will get a new version of Kino, a modernized version. Who knows? You know, with IDW comics and everything, they bring back like everyone. So I would really look forward to see a new version of Kino in the future. Who knows? Who knows?
We have two. I'll tell you about the two that I know about. The first one is an Easter egg in the Last Ronin issue 2, where you see Kino is a name badge on one of the Resistance soldiers. Jeez. That Ben Bishop drew, and I was talking to him about it. He's like, "Oh, did you see I snuck Kino in there?" I'm like, "I did see that actually." So that was pretty interesting. Then the other thing, if anyone is keeping up, there is an independent comic, a fan made comic called Casey Jones Amnesiacs, which came out. We did an interview with them and all that, and they have Kino as an orderly in a mental hospital where Casey Jones resides after the events of the first movie. So there's some interpretations out there. So it's pretty interesting. But I don't know if you guys are aware of those. But
the first one, yes. The second one, no. And one of them, I thought that in one of the Rise of the TMNT comics, there was a pizza delivery guy who looked very much like Kino. So, but I mean, these are just Easter eggs. This is not real characters. So, yeah. We need a real Kino. We need a character somewhere, a new version.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And one thing I wanted to mention about Kino and Splinter is that he has no reason to respect Splinter. He doesn't know anything about him. He doesn't know that this is the guy that taught them everything. Like, he sits there and he'll listen, but I mean, there's no reason for him to respect him at all. Like, he doesn't consider this is the guy that took out the Shredder last night on the rooftop, with nunchucks when he came charging with a spear. So, he beat him so bad he came back as a different actor. So,
all we know is when Raphael says run or I'll kick your butt, Stacey would have said, please stay, Kino, please. For the love of God, stay. Let Raph kick your ass. Stay.
I love it. I love the Kino distinction.
Got it.
So shoot. that's awesome. Why does Splinter leave after shooting that arrow? Like, just at the point where like Raphael is free. He's like, oh, these guys got this. He just takes off there. That just seems to me like such an odd choice.
Yeah.
And
they get excited too, right? They say we're on our own.
What do you say, Stacey?
I know the answer to this one. It's puppetry, mate. The answer is that puppet can't really move very well. And they don't want to put it in a fight because it will look silly.
Oh, yeah.
I will just say I'm having some internet issues here, and I think there's kind of a lag between me and you guys, which means if I'm talking over anyone, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. But yeah, Splinter looks disastrous, doesn't he? I mean, I love him. I absolutely love him, and I wouldn't change a single thing about him. But he does look like a small wind would knock him over. So you can't put him in a scrap with a bunch of foot because he'll get trampled.
I was just thinking he could shoot more arrows. I mean, it's like he's up there in range, and it's like okay, don't shoot at Tatsu, don't shoot at Shredder because they'll catch him or anything else like that. But there's a whole bunch of inexperienced young boys. Shoot him in the legs or something. Help your boys out. Like,
I will say that scene did help
that's
bring
harsh, dude.
That scene did bring more sentimental value to my Splinter action figure because finally he actually uses the crossbow. So now when I use it, I can think of that movie scene.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, mine doesn't look as frail. The Super 7 version here doesn't look as frail, but I don't know. So he is flocked though, so he is fuzzy. So, and he just took out a mouser on his way in. So yeah, the neck. Nice. No, I think that's a big thing about this film and like going forward and all that with Splinter. Splinter's been like just so hard to figure out. And I think this movie did as good as it can. The first movie was fantastic, but he was just like, he was beaten and chained up 90% of the time you saw him. Or he was, like an ethereal blue flame. So it's like, what do you do with Splinter in this circumstance? So, but I think you're right, Stacey. There's not much more that he could have done. So I totally understand that. Let's see. We were talking about the appearance. Oh, speaking of Splinter here, another thing I noticed is what is it about Splinter's appearance that causes such a reaction in people? April in the first film, and then Kino passes out, and Professor Perry, like if you look at his face when he sees Splinter, like he's just kind of shaken. Like he's totally fine seeing Toka and Razar and then seeing the turtles, but when he sees, his eyes go like all bugged out when he looks at Splinter. Like, any thoughts on why he elicits such a reaction? Maybe,
New Yorkers probably would have a better answer to it because they see rats every day. So maybe they're like, wow, this thing that actually just runs around daily is my size now.
Yeah. I don't know. It just kind of surprised me too. I'm like, yeah, you're okay with like a 5-foot talking turtle, but the rat is the thing that got you. Okay, I get that he doesn't look like Harrison Ford, but it's just like, I don't know. Another thing I was thinking about here, because you've all read the comics, I'm guessing, right? At some point between everything that we've all done. I think that the turtles here, the way that they fight and constantly wisecrack is the truest interpretation of them from the comics. So despite like all the things that we talk about where they're doing, and they do this in the first film and they do this in the third film, but I think there's a seriousness in like TMNT, the 2017 version, and the Bay version a little bit. Like Mikey is kind of like jokey, but the rest are more serious. I think that we get the truest interpretation of these are teenagers joking around, doing California rolls and like all kinds of fun stuff like that. But I think that's what these movies nail. the fact that these guys are being like Spider-Man. They're out there, they're fighting and wisecracking. Don't knock them all out. Oh, I don't think it'll be a problem. Like that kind of thing. Well, what do you think?
Well, I like too is if any of you guys ever read the Secret of the Ooze comic, they actually did do an Eastman Laird's comic based on the movie, which was actually a pretty cool read.
Mhm.
It's coming back out. There's a new version of it that's on
they are
pre-order
doing
now. Yep.
Oh, wow.
There's a 35th anniversary edition
Yeah.
with a new cover by Jim Lawson that will be out, I think, in about a month or two.
Oh, nice.
How fun
Yeah.
is that?
I mean, especially with the first movie, they really nailed this balance between the goofiness of the cartoon and the more seriousness of the original Mirage comics. And I think there's, as you say, this is the perfect balance. Like, yeah, the turtles, they can be serious. There are serious scenes. There are scenes when they worry about each other, but when they're fighting together, they're just having fun and goofing off and throwing wisecracks. So I think, as you say, this is like the perfect mixture. And it's like nowadays you see it a lot in the IDW comics too. When the turtles, they're fighting together, you also see them like especially Mikey, because he's the goofball, and but they're still doing this. So yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's like this is the perfect balance between serious and goofiness, and that's what makes the turtles for me. So yeah, I guess that's the movies. Yeah.
Would you prefer to see them as like a darker, grittier, like stabbing people sort of turtles? Stacey, would you prefer that, or do you like the goofiness?
No, I'm actually on record as saying that I was not very excited when they announced the Last Ronin movie that is now sort of not cancelled, but also not really on the docket anymore. Because I worry that a movie version of that would be too much of like, look, they can swear now, and he's cut a man's head off and blood everywhere, blood over everything. And I'm like, I love a good blood everywhere movie. I am very much into my action and my horror. But to me, like, I don't need to see Michelangelo dripping with blood, anybody's blood. I just don't need that in my life. And I don't like the idea that it would be a spectacle more than it would be a story. Because the thing about The Last Ronin that I absolutely adore is that is a story really about survivor's guilt, isn't it? And loss and grief. And it just so happens to also have some hella awesome action sequences in it. And I worry if they make a sort of R-rated version of the Turtles, a la The Last Ronin or something like it, that they'll just go ham on like, Leo's cut a man's head off, and you're like, all right, chill out, lads. Like, I think it would freak me out a little bit too. Like, I don't want to see the exact, sort of damage a bow staff can really do. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm quite content with, like the turtles we have now, honestly.
So I'm gonna pivot on this question then. So if they did make a Last Ronin movie, live action or animated, who would your choice be to cast the voice?
Ooh.
You mean for Mikey? You mean voice for Mikey?
Well, of course, the character is Michelangelo, but the actor doesn't have to necessarily have played Michelangelo before. So it could be like you could tell me you want a Rob Paulson version where he's just sitting there and he's talking like this, like he does sometimes. It's like you can tell me whatever you want.
Wouldn't it be the funniest thing if they brought back Robbie Wrist?
I think Robbie Wrist would be great. I also would really like the idea of Wayne Grayson from the 2003 cartoon, because there was an episode of that called Same as It Never Was that absolutely haunts my dreams. Absolutely haunts my dreams, Same as It Never Was does. And there's a future version of Mikey in that who's grizzled and he only has one arm and he's having a bad time. And I think Wayne Grayson does such a really brilliant job of playing that sort of like keeping it Michelangelo, but also making it sort of sad and resentful, like a voice we don't usually hear from Mikey at all. And I think he would be fantastic. But I do love Robbie Wrist too. So
Robbie Riss being in the same room as him and just listening to him talk. If you close your eyes, you're like, that is the most Michelangelo voice I've ever heard in my life, and I can't get away from it. It is just, it's wild. It's just wild. I'm like, oh my God, he actually talks like this. Like, he's just like, oh yeah, and then we're going to go and get it. I'm like, no way. No way you talk like this in your regular life. He's like, oh, yeah, all the time, man. It's wild. So, yeah, I think I love what you just said about Wayne Grayson, because that's one of the inspirations that I took for mine. I tried to mix him and Townsend together. That's kind of where I got my voice from, because I like the sort of like shrill highness that he gets. So, yeah, that's interesting. You're probably the first person who said Wayne Grayson. I like Robbie Rist. I'd probably go with Robbie Rist, and yeah. Man, does this movie suffer from having changed characters for April, changed actors, Paige Turco as opposed to Judith Hoag? And if we had Judith Hoag in it, would this have been the same film?
I don't think she would have liked it. My first thought, I don't think she would have liked the wackiness. I mean, she would have lost more of her character depth. She was more emotional in the first movie. She cared. She was able to be a wise ass, with Casey. She would have lost a little bit of her sarcasm in this movie, I think, too. So I would have loved her in it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if she would have meshed with the tone they were setting in this one, because I think I told you this one before too, Justin. Just Leo, with how the Turtles changed too. I was not a fan of Leo in this movie. He just seemed too much like a crybaby as a leader. There's still a little bit more stuff to help with Michelangelo. He just seemed he didn't. It's like he lost his mojo. Like, he didn't really have the power, and then he gets it back in the third movie. I felt he was more like he was in charge. But back to your question, I don't think.
Hold on, let me defend Leo for a second here. There's two moments in this movie that I will defend. First, the traditional pre-fight donut is Leo. He saves the day at that point. The second time, so that is like literally 45 minutes in. The movie has like 28 minutes left at this point. So then he finally does something. The next time that he becomes the most relevant character on screen is when they escape the Super Shredder, and he says, "A true ninja is a master of himself and his environment. Don't forget that we're turtles." And then they jump off into the water. So yes, those are the two key moments of Leo.
Yes, he does have one shining moment. Good point. Two.
All right, you were saying.
Yes, but yeah, that's just I just don't feel like because it sucks. I mean, I know there was talk. We won't get too dark, but it was like she was actually defending the turtle actors, and there was something behind the scenes that they didn't want her in the movie. I could be wrong. I don't have my facts in front of me, but I know that's why they were trying to not have Judith Hoag in there. But I would have liked her. I'm just not sure how she would have fit with the wackiness, because I would have rather seen April. Like, if this was the way they were going, if April was in here, I would have wanted her to see actually her train with Splinter. Because remember, she's swinging that, handbag in the first movie. I think she would have actually wanted to learn more ways of the ninja.
So maybe she was a bit softer in this movie as well as a personality. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. No, I like that perspective, because it's April as a character and April as an actress who made choices for the character, and just it doesn't translate from first to second. So yeah, it's almost like we got like an alternate dimension version of April. So
yeah, and she was like a cool caring mom. I think in this one it would have been more like your auntie who just has the kids over for a weekend. Here, let me get you some napkins, and then just she just says, all right, forget it.
That's interesting. Any thoughts, either Stacey or Christian, about Judith Hoag being in this instead of Paige Turco?
I mean, I would have liked to see her back, because Judith Hoag was just perfect. But yeah, Paige Turco was also really good. I never had a problem with Paige Turco. She did a good job, but yeah, she like feels a bit different. She's still April, but as Mike said, she feels she plays the character a bit different. So you see that there's a difference. And I mean, yeah, with the tone of the movie, her character works, because it's all a bit toned down from the seriousness, from the more grittiness from the first movie. So I think so yeah, it works. It's different, and I don't know if Judith Hoag would have been fine with the tonal change, or if there would have been a problem that she, I don't know, couldn't have done it to be. As I said, she feels like a bit like a bit different character, so the actor change in a way it makes sense. So yeah, but as I said, would have loved to see her back, and that's one of the reasons why I would have really liked to see a Last Ronin movie, because then we would have had a chance to see her back as an elder April, and that would have been. I would have cried tears of joy in the theater when I would have seen that. But yeah, not going to happen right now.
I'll tell you all a little story. I was at Granite State Con when Tom Waltz, who wrote the Last Ronin, and Kevin Eastman were standing there in a bar, and I was there with Eric, my former co-host, when Judith Hoag walked in, and they were all introduced to each other. I was there at that moment that they all met, and oh yeah, I've heard about this and all that. She starts talking to him and Kevin Eastman. So she's talking to Tom Waltz, about the Last Ronin. Oh yeah. And there's always been like these speculations and stuff like that. Judith Hoag asked to do this and all that. And I'm literally just like standing right next to her. I took a picture of her and like Mateus Sandaluco and like all those guys, like and Kevin Eastman, like on her phone. Like she handed me her phone. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I can't believe that I'm actually here for this. And she's like, yeah, I would totally do it. I would absolutely do it. I would love to do it. Bring me something. Like, call my people. And they're like, yeah, we're trying to make something work. And Kevin's over there talking and just being like, oh yeah, we're trying to get it going and all that, and I was just at the bar and I was hanging out with Ken Scott and Brian Toshi. So I ended up going off over here while Eric stood and had this whole conversation with Tom Waltz, Kevin Eastman, and Judith Hoag about Last Ronin live action movie. You can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. So I don't know. I'd like to see that. But Stacey, what are your thoughts on Judith Hoag? Like, should we see Judith Hoag come back to the Last Ronin? What do you think?
I would love to see Judith Hoag back, but I agree with you guys in the sense that if she comes back, the writing needs to meet her at her level, because I don't even really think of Paige Turco as April because she's such a watered down version. Like if you think of the first movie, April's investigating things, she's taking chances, she's going after the police, she's doing reports, asking for information from the public, she's really getting her teeth into actually finding out what the heck is going on here and trying to make a change. Whereas April of the second movie, bless Paige Turco, she did the best with what she had, but what she had was a glorified babysitter, and then she disappears for the latter half of the film. She's not even there. So if Judith Hoag were to come back, and I would love to see her because I think she's fantastic, they need to meet her with that original sort of brief that they had for April and keep going in that sort of vein, because that's the April I want to see. I don't want to see like a damsel in distress or a mom. I want to see like a competent investigative journalist who can bring something to the table that's not just occasionally getting kidnapped and having to get rescued by one of the turtles. So
more Lois Lane, right?
Yeah, I think if she were to yeah, exactly. And I think if they did do The Last Ronin, she would be my first pick for sort of elder April, because I do think she would absolutely nail it. I think she's brilliant and I love her. And if I ever get to meet her, I am going to probably lose the capacity for human speech. So yeah,
that's the appropriate response. Yeah, that's okay. That's and I will just point out for all the people that Paige Turco, you have to see those shoulder pads in the last newscast at the end of the episode or at the end of the movie when they're watching it. Those are amazing early 90s shoulder pads that she's wearing, and they are so underappreciated in this film. So if you didn't realize they were there, go back and look and you're like, oh my goodness. So but
the little things.
I had an idea from the first episode that we did where we did the Stinko-Vision. And the Stinko-Vision was a version of the DVD that you could buy with a scratch and sniff palette. And at certain key points, they would flash an image for you to take a look at. Smell 1, smell 2, smell 3, things like that. So I have a couple scenes in the movie. I was going to run by you all to see if we had an idea if these would be good for scents and then what scents they would be. So you all game?
Okay.
All right,
Sure.
all right. Obviously, the first thing that you see in the movie is a whole bunch of people eating pizza. So we would have to have number one be scratch and sniff pizza.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That sounds
Absolutely.
right. I say number two is combat cold cuts. Should be the smell of cured meat, pepperoni, or salami.
I'm with you on that one.
Sounds good. Yeah, yeah.
Not a fan, Stacey? Don't like the smell? They're not all going to be good smells.
As well, I was going to say, as somebody who has actually watched the Stinkervision version of the first movie, I can confirm that there are 0 good smells in that one. It's awful. It's all awful. It's all smells of mildew and sewage, and menthol in one section for some reason.
Yeah.
So
there's 2 good ones.
I don't
One
know
is
how I feel about
Splinter.
sniffing meat.
Okay. All right. The next one, I was thinking you could bring it back to pizza for the ninja pizza that vanished without trace. Bring back number one for that. The next one, this one I'll need some help with. The dump, when we have Shredder rising up from the garbage and he's pulling on that plastic bag and all of that. That's gotta have its own smell, right? So that should be maybe number 3. Scratch it and smells like
just
hot
a bunch
garbage.
of garbage.
That's got rotten eggs or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Like those what's those jelly beans people like to eat? I can't think of them now. There's Twitch streamers. It's like a roulette.
Bots, was it Birdie Bots?
It's
Harry
some
Potter?
sort of like jelly. It's bean something, and it's like you spin a wheel, and it's like one of them's good and the other one's bad. Like it'll be like Old Socks or vanilla. So something like that. Like one of the worst ones would be the aroma I'm getting from Shredder coming back to life.
Both of those Old Socks and vanillas are on this list.
Yes.
So the next one I thought would be interesting to have a metal or like a copper smell when Shredder comes up and he's working on his helmet. So, and that might be like too ambitious of me to have that be number 4, but I just thought it would be like, could you imagine the experience of it's like, oh, he's grinding this metal down and you can smell it, I thought that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Next one you mentioned earlier, a candy bar. When Mikey, can you crunch? He says to Raph, "Can you crunch any louder?" And so that would smell like chocolate, and you'd scratch that off, so you can get that little scene. That
just some chocolate. Yeah.
Next one has to be dandelion, which is the smell of cut grass, soil with a hint of citrus. So dandelion,
Perfect.
Cleaning supplies for when they tidy up April's. They're cleaning up, and it's we wanted to surprise you. So TGRI, when the only thing I could think of is when the ninjas vanish, that sort of smoke, that ninja sulfur smoke.
Or Katsu chucks the little smoke bomb. Yep.
Yeah. So that would be one. Then back in April's apartment, when Donatello, I don't know if you saw this, I took a picture of it. Donatello, while he's walking through, it's the scene right after Michelangelo pulls down the Paulina poster and he goes, "Just you and me, Paulina." Donatello walks by with aftershave and he dabs a little on himself, and it's Aqua Velva aftershave. Blink and you'd miss it. So, but I had to bring this because of Stacey's love of Donatello. So I don't know. Had you ever seen him put aftershave on before?
I had noticed him do that, and I think it's adorable that he's probably the only one who's very aware that he smells of the sewer.
Oh, yes. So I am so glad that you saw that, because that to me was like a little treat, and I'm like, nobody's seen this before. I'm the greatest. No, it's no, but so that would be Aqua Velva, which is just kind of like a smell of like an Old Spice or any sort of aftershave that you would put on. And then we have let's see, Hino is hanging out with the turtles. He's bringing pizza to them, but there's a fireplace going on because it's raining and all that. So we have a fireplace while Splinter gives the story. So again, I'm getting deep here. There was only like 12 in the original one, but the abandoned subway station is kind of like dusty with spider webs. And then when they place the phone call, Mikey has potato chips. So I would say potato chips maybe would have a smell there. And scratch and sniff, or crisps, as you would call them, Stacey, right?
Good work.
Thank you.
The foot recruitment on the bridge. there's 3 people smoking cigarettes, in leather jackets and all that. Michael Jai White is in the back, all that stuff. So I say that would be cigarette smoke, or cigar smoke, just depending on which one smells. And then we've got in the junkyard when they're working with this, maybe like a motor oil and rust sort of smell. So right before Toka drops down into the sewer and it becomes jokey again, but you've got kind of like all of that smell going on. And then let's see, April, the first time she gets to go to the sewer layer, they give her in that very Bart Simpson glass that's very difficult to find, a glass of orange juice. So again, deep cut, little scratch and sniff. April's orange juice. Were you followed? No, they don't need to follow me. So, and then when they start making the retro mutagen ooze, that's going to be a whole smell unto itself, and I can only imagine it's going to be like black licorice and garbage and I don't know, bleach and nonsense ammonia, like everything all together with a hint of pepperoni pizza.
Yes.
Because pepperoni heaven, So then we've got the pre-fight donut, which should smell like donut. And the Dockside Club, or the Dock Shore Club, I should say, the only thing it should smell like appropriately is vanilla. Vanilla and fog machine. So vanilla fog. So, and then do fire extinguishers have a smell like that halon? Does that have a smell that we could quantify? Because I imagine if it does, that's got to be the last one here. So, but that's my Stinko vision. Those are the versions that I would use. It's probably like way too deep, and I went more than what they would put on a card. But
how much does that cost, Justin, the Stinko vision? Because you and Stacey have both seen it. I don't know if Christian did. I have not. I know we talked about it last time, but can you still get those on Amazon or?
You can. It's roughly like $38 something. I think just shy of $40 for it. So
okay.
It's an experience, and you will not want to repeat it.
Yeah, I'll do
Good to know.
Okay.
I think that the two favorable ones are Master Splinter and Bubblegum. Those are the 2 favorable ones. Yeah.
What does Master Splinter smell like?
Yeah.
Please enlighten us.
What do you
sort
think,
of
Stacey? What does he smell
furry,
like?
if you can quantify that as a smell. Yeah, like he's got like sort of a when you hug a dog, but it's like not a gross stinky dog, like a pleasant dog. Okay. I don't know if Splinter would like being referred to as a pleasant dog. The one that got me was there's a sort of mentally kind of smell for when Casey's massaging April's shoulders, and unfortunately for me that bled into 3 of the other smells in my card. So every time I scritched anything, it was like, oh, it's like sewer shit and menthol, and it was just the worst mixture of everything. I do not recommend.
Yeah, there was one I couldn't get out of my nose, and it was just like every time, and it was like the sewer smell, and it was this like deep mildew dirt smell, and I'm like, oh great, now all I smell is I just keep going back to this cherry bubblegum, but it smells like that nonsense. So it's like, that's why I said you will not want to repeat the experience, but it is an experience. So it's
noted.
It's a extra experience. So, but this is something that I've talked about with Liddy before on the show. We've talked about like what do the turtles smell like and things like that. So I just thought it was kind of an interesting way to view this movie that hadn't been done yet. But before we finish, I just want to ask everybody if you have a favorite scene from the film, just what that would be. And let's start with Christian.
Boy, okay. The first one that comes to my mind is Ninja Rap scene. Mostly because of the Turtles dance. Yes, exactly. I know it's goofy. I know, why do they suddenly know the moves? When did they train this? Did they go to musical school for this or something? I don't know. But it's just so, I don't know. I like it. It's just fun. It's just I'm a musical fan, so maybe that's the reason why I have no problem when people suddenly start singing and dancing. So this is my scene. The scene that first comes to my mind. Turtles dancing in the club.
Have you watched this in like the German translation? And if so, how does that hold up?
That's the interesting part. Maybe you've heard about this because in the original 3 movies, in the German dub, in the German version, when the turtles are fighting, they have included this cartoon sounds. So to like soften the violence, they did it in all 3 movies. So when the turtles are fighting, you always hear like boing, ding dong, dong.
What?
And that's through the whole movie, through all 3 movies. And I thought that was just, when I was a kid, I thought it was just the way the movie is. When I watched the movie for the first time in the original version in English, I was like, where are my sound effects? This is... I grew up with them, so yeah, that's the thing that only exists in a German version. That's
Wow.
I don't know.
that is excellent. I didn't know that. All right, Mike. How about you? What's your favorite scene in this?
Oh, geez, where to go? I mean, I know we gotta. This is now. I feel like Christian when I ask him these questions, he always has a disclaimer because it could change any day with this.
Yeah, of course.
So, as I guess I'll just do 2. As a kid, was always a little too rough. I thought that was just well said. As an adult, the mega burn. All the good ones end in O. You had the balls to say that's a burn, Raphael. I loved it as I got older.
Oh, that's so good. All right, Stacey, what's your favorite scene in this film?
Oh, it's absolutely 100% a little too rough, and all of the build up to that. And also the very small bit afterwards that I love when Donatello is untying Raph and he starts by like whipping off the tape on his mouth. And Raph's like, oh, could you do that any more painfully? Jeez, Louise. So Donnie's like, well, I'll just put that back on. And it's like such a stinky little brother behavior. I absolutely love it. It's like that whole sequence, just from when they get to the junkyard to when they're freeing Raph, is a little chef's kiss. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
And the payoff on that joke where he just he does it to Professor Perry. He goes, I gotta get the hang of that. You know? I'm gonna go with a scene that I mean, I love the beginning scene with the pizza and all that. I think that's just like such an iconic scene. You're like, oh, we're watching a Turtles movie. But I like in the rain when they're running across the barren street and they're all saying goodbye to April, and then Mikey puts a hat on and he goes, you know something else, the lives of 2 people in this here world. I like that one a lot. Because we got the whole impressions from Michelangelo in the first movie, and it's like, oh, was he just not going to do that anymore? No, oh, okay, it's here. So I like that. That's a fun for me. So this has been a lot of fun. Full disclosure, this is my favorite of the Turtles movies. I've always said that. I love the fun tone to it. I love everything that we talked about, even the bad stuff. I like it. I accept it. I take it all in and I say, this is mine. This is what I endorse. Does this fall in anybody's favorites, or where does this fall? Is this like your second or your third?
If we're just we just ranking the original trilogy, how we would rank them? Okay.
You could say that. I mean, if you want to come out of left field and tell me that Mutant Mayhem's your favorite, I'm here for it, man. You want to say Rise 2018 the movie?
If we throw in all of them, I would probably say number 1. I guess we'll just like where it finally falls. 2007 is number 2. Third movie for me is 3. And then the 4th one is Ooze, just because it's not that it hasn't aged well. I do enjoy the comedy. It's one I still watch at least once or twice a year. But you had 2 great episodes on your podcast earlier when you interviewed, Ken Scott and the Shredder. And it would have probably climbed up if you would have seen Shredder do more than just stand around. Because you even said on your show, I remember your interview, he actually wanted to be a part of the action. And he really couldn't. He just had to stand there.
Half of that episode was about the movie City of Industry, by the way. So Beverly Hills Ninja. So which he did more, but then died and was thrown into a hot tub. So yet that's not a horror movie. So I don't know. What do you think, Stacey? Where does this rank for you for Turtles films?
Well, controversially, it wouldn't. I think it's just about in my top 5, maybe, if I was ranking my top. The problem is I have like 3 of them at number 1, and it depends on which day you ask me. Because
what are they?
I think Mutant Mayhem, Mutant Mayhem, Rise of the TMNT, the movie, and the 1990 live action one. And interestingly, I saw the 1990 movie live action one for the first time at the cinema in November 2023, which had a Q&A afterwards with Steve Barron, the director. And somebody had asked him, like, oh, have you seen Mutant Mayhem, by the way? And he went, yeah, it's the best Turtles movie that's ever been made. And I was like, oh, wow, like, this coming from the king? Do you know what I mean? So I feel quite validated in the fact that I like Mutant Mayhem an awful lot. I know that Rise is an extremely left field one to be picking, but it's
a good movie. It's a very, like, the animation's gorgeous.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so good. So it's like I've got 3 joint at the top, and then I've got probably 07, and then maybe Secret of the Ooze at number 5, just sneaking in at number 5.
Okay.
But I do absolutely adore it. I think it, like, all of those movies are like 4.5 to 5 stars. It's not like it's middling, the difference between how much I adore all the Turtles films. You have to be a really, really shit Turtles film for me to rank you lower than like a 3, to be honest.
So the Christmas movie, the direct to VHS, is a very turtley Christmas. Where does that rank then? Is that a shit Turtles movie?
So that is a shit. If I could put my internet on my phone, I'm very worried about doing that because my internet's been patchy as it is. But if I could check my letterbox, I could tell you exactly, because I have a Turtles ranking and it is in there. It does come above. I don't know if you've ever seen Turtle Tunes, which was a very shit Turtles thing where they just sang things like copyright free songs. Yeah, and there was like singing like what she'll be coming round the mountain and just like real random shit that nobody wanted to hear the Turtles sing.
No bad.
Very strange. That's probably at the very bottom. Yeah. But I'll give you my official rankings when I can put my internet back on, because I'm having a mare over here.
Okay. Fantastic. I love it. How about you, Christian? Where does it rank for you?
Yeah, I have a love for this movie. I enjoy it. I can watch it every time. In the ranking of all the TMNT movies, I guess around 4 or 5, somewhere around there. I mean, 90 movies hasn't been. This is the highest of the highest, the best of the best. It just got everything right, in my opinion. It's a masterpiece. But yeah, I mean, from all the problems that the movie then had, they had to do it in 1 year to bring it out fast. They had to tone it down because parents were complaining about the violence and the darkness. I always wonder what movie would have we gotten when the people behind it would have just went the straight line, like, okay, first movie, second movie, it's the same style. Can only imagine what it would have been. But yeah, it's still just a fun movie. So yeah, it's somewhere in the middle field of all the TMNT movies, I think. Oh yeah.
I like it. And just to clarify for myself, I think the first movie's a better movie. I just like this one better. So it's that's so I and I like
when I was a kid. When I was a kid, the third one was my favorite. So here we go.
I could see that, and I mean, you pair that with like the love of the video game or anything else. There you go. So, just the last thing that we'll talk about here is that pizza is such a central character in this movie. It shows up. Has that been something that you like to experience when you watch these movies? Do you find that you like to have pizza with them? Or is there anything, obviously you have, Stacey, your whole pizza, experience with that. Is there anything different that you put on for toppings in the United Kingdom instead of, maybe like pepperoni or killer cold cuts?
I don't think I've ever had killer cold cuts. No, I'm a ham and mushroom gal myself.
Okay,
that's my go-to pizza of choice. But I did once have a TMNT marathon at my house that I forced people to do for my birthday, because when it's your birthday, you're allowed to make people do things they don't want to do. It's great.
I love that.
And I made I made homemade pizzas myself for it, and I made dessert pizzas for afterwards. So it was like a cookie dough base with chocolate sauce and then marshmallows, and then afterwards I sprinkled like Smarties and M&Ms on the top. Don't cook Smarties and M&Ms, folks, because they will burn your entire face off. They were so molten in the middle, absolutely molten, but it was delicious and messy. But yeah, also, I've just got to throw this out there, even though it's completely unrelated to the question, but I have to say, I can't believe I didn't just mention Batman versus the TMNT in my top movies, because that is also so good. Like,
you are
unreasonably good.
Yeah,
I think it slipped everybody's mind, to be honest with you.
I would be like fully transparent here. If you wanted to do another episode for an hour and a half where we talk just about that, yeah, I'm in.
I'm there.
I almost mentioned.
I'm on board. She's on board.
You got one lined up, Justin.
Beck Bennett.
With your permission and blessing, we'll all be back.
No, it wasn't Beck Bennett. Who's it? That did Mikey. I love him. I think that he did such a good job. But yeah, so cool.
Oh,
all right, guys.
Kyle Mooney.
Kyle Mooney. Yes, love Y2K Kyle Mooney. All right, gents. Any thoughts on crazy pizza toppings that you like while watching this movie?
I just go old school pepperoni for me. But yeah, it's just always I think we just got brainwashed because of the TV show. I mean, I guess that would be the what if. Like, well, I mean, no, because they've gotten a second movie too. But I mean, yeah, it's like pretty much chips and dip. If you got turtles around, you got it. As long as your stomach can handle it, yes, I'll say as a foreclosure in case there are people who can't have it with gluten and whatnot. But for anybody here, it's pretty much right next to me. Remotes in one hand, pizzas in the other.
I love that. I love that you took this opportunity to use the platform to talk about inclusivity for gluten intolerant people.
Yes,
That's very nice of you, Mike. I like that. So, good for you. Christian, anything that you put on pizza that might be a little bit different? Or are you just a pepperoni guy?
Not really, nothing special. You know, with me, every pizza is good pizza. Make it tuna, make it pepperoni, make it plain cheese. I will eat it. Only thing, keep those pineapples away from me.
Yes.
Keep them away.
He did not.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh no, thanks. Everything else, I'm there for it. Give it. That's fine. So. Any pizza is good pizza except for pineapple. That's another story.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I wasn't going to go there, but you went there, but that's fine. So we will have to find a good pizza recipe to end up the audio episode of this. But otherwise, I want to thank my guests for joining me. I will have a link to all of their social medias, but I want to make sure that you follow these fine people. Stacey, if I could start off with you, where do you like folks to follow you on social media, and where can they find your podcast?
I am most likely to be found on Instagram and Threads, and yes, I know Meta are terrible and would that I could depart from any of their platforms, but sadly I like being social and I love talking turtles. So if you want to come and talk turtles with me, you can follow me at Stacey's Parlour, Stacey with an EY and Parlour with a UR, and you can find the podcast wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, not YouTube, because I don't like people to see my ridiculous face. But it is on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on all the podcatchers. Stacey's Pop Culture Parlour, and occasionally we do still pop out episodes of Podcast in a Half Shell there as well. Whenever something new comes out, Turtlesy, that I can talk to my pal Duncan about.
They're on episode 25, just in case you are wondering. So, and you said no one wants to see you. I've been looking at your collection this entire time. So, it's just right past you at the 71 Donatellos.
Is that too many? Yeah. She says no.
No, it's not. It's appropriate. All right, Kristen, where can folks find you on social media, and where can they find your podcast?
Well, the podcast Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Talk you can find on pretty any podcast app or website like Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You might find it anywhere. Or I guess the easiest way is just go to the website TMNTtalk.com, where you can also find all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, or just an idea, join the Discord of TMNT The Talk. And we always love to have nice TMNT people over there. Every TMNT fan is welcome. So let's talk turtles, and yeah, TMNTtalk.com. You can find everything there.
He's even welcoming you if you like pineapple on your pizza. That's just
Absolutely. Hey,
it's
that's
very
just my opinion. We're cool. We're cool.
All right, Mike, you want to bring us home and tell us where we can find you on social media and where we can find Shellanomics?
Sure thing, my dude. Easy enough. Shellanomics. We are on Spotify, YouTube, and I believe Apple as well. Just for good news for Leonardo fans, I know Justin said earlier that Leo really didn't get too much of a good spotlight, but Justin and I did do a ranking of our top 5 Leonardos last year, which is a great listen for those who have not checked it out yet. And we also do stream on Twitch. We play a lot of turtle games there. We have not a world record, but we did beat the original Ninja Turtle game for Nintendo in less than 30 minutes, which is probably going to be the highlight of my gaming career. We have a tutorial on there. If anybody needs help, you can contact me on Instagram. Like Christian said, too, we have a Discord server as well. And big thanks to Christian, too. Guys, I can't say enough nice things about him. He's helped me out a ton with my podcast where we've been breaking down comics week after week. Coming up soon, we're going to break down the rise of the Ninja Turtle comics, which I'm looking forward to because you put out there's a Kino lookalike, so I can't wait to read that. And Justin, as always, dude, thanks so much for bringing us all together. I think we could have easily went another hour and a half, and it would have
I'm sure.
Thank you.
Well, thank you to my guests. All the audio listeners, please stay tuned for your pizza recipe of the day. And if not, thank you for joining us on Epic Tales from the Sewers.